Welcome into Tom Sox Conversations. I am Crawford Humphreys. One thing this Tom Sox organization really prides itself on is strong relationships with powerhouse organizations across the nation, and specifically here in the state of Virginia. And one newfound relationship the Sox now have with our neighbors in Lynchburg, Liberty University. And of course, I'm very excited to welcome in Liberty Flames assistant coach Tyler Cannon onto the show. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Crawford. Thanks for having me, man.
Now, before we get into your coaching career, because I'm sure you answer plenty of questions about that as is, I want to talk about your career here in Charlottesville, actually. You played 4 years at the University of Virginia, two-time All-ACC shortstop, school record in career doubles, third in program history and runs scored. A very, very successful resume. So what was it like playing here in Charlottesville for such a storied program, playing under Coach O'Connor and playing in front of this fan base?
Yeah, I tell you what, Crawford, when I was in high school, I could not have made a better decision to come to the University of Virginia to play for Coach O'Connor, Coach Mack, Coach Kuhn. I mean, it was an unbelievable experience, for me personally. We won a lot of games, obviously, and, I was fortunate enough to be around a lot of really good players. I know those numbers say that, I did some things, but really, it was more camouflage because I had a really good supporting cast and a lot of really good teammates that were unbelievable players and relationships that I've built. They're going to last a lifetime. And, you got a degree, obviously, from there. My first daughter was actually born there in Charlottesville when I came back as the student assistant. So there are a lot of ties, still extremely close with the entire coaching staff. And really, quite honestly, Crawford, I wouldn't really be in this position if it weren't for them. They really introduced me into this kind of profession and really being back there in the fall of 2013 and spring of 2014, I knew after that year that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to coach college baseball, and, I'm fortunate enough to be able to do it today.
So talk to me a little bit about that. What was that transition like from being a player to go into coaching, and especially being able to coach under Brian O'Connor?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting at first. Being a player, you don't really understand behind the scenes and how everything is run and organized. You really just do kind of what they tell you to do when you're at practice, games, all that stuff. Trust the scouting reports that Coach Mack and Coach Smith at the time, who's now at LSU. But and then when I was back as the student assistant, you really get a really good idea of how things are managed. All three of them, Coach O'Connor, Mack, and Kays, were extremely talented, not only baseball coaches, but being able to manage people and their players and organize and practices, why we're doing it this way and not that way today, when to be hard on the kids, when to not be so hard on the kids. I mean, it was an extremely eye-opening experience from a coaching standpoint, that even as a player, you're like, I don't really understand why we're doing this today, but you just kind of trust the process. And then once you're behind the scenes, you really get a really good idea of just how talented and brilliant those guys are, because they're one of a kind. They really are.
Now, you took the job at Liberty in 2016, and you immediately hit the ground running with this new coaching staff. You focused particularly on infield and hitters, but in just your third season, first NCAA regional since 2014, you tied the program record for wins, and you led the conference in fielding percentage. So talk to me a little bit about what your goals are for this program and for your career, and where you see everything going from here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just kind of sustaining success and kind of building off of, our 2019 season. And obviously the 2020 season was cut short, but really just trying to, have an upward trajectory and continue to get better in every areas and just be consistent in what we do. Because that's really the name of the game is being consistent, on the mounds, defensively, offensively, and kind of being the same person every single day, because it's a game of failure, obviously, as we know. And the more consistent you can be, the more consistent you have of kind of sustaining success. And I really learned that as a player at UVA, and really have kind of taken that into the coaching ranks.
Now I want to talk for a little bit about a guy that I'm sure is going to sound familiar to Tom Sox fans out there, Trey McDyre. The season before he started playing for the Sox, didn't get much playing time, but had a stellar summer, won the Valley League championship, and came back as a starter for the Flames. So talk to me a little bit about his development and what you saw in that one summer here in Charlottesville.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, and I hope he doesn't watch this later, but he's one of my favorite players. He's a coach's dream. He really is. You don't have any problems with him on the field, off the field. He's a true professional. He's extremely intelligent, not only from a baseball IQ, but in the classroom as well. He's going to have an unbelievable career once his playing days are over. And he even had an internship up there in Charlottesville. I think he was working for a credit union, if I'm not mistaken. But he means everything, and we're super excited that he's coming back for a fifth year. I'm not sure if you know that or not, but he's one of two seniors that's actually coming back, and we're super excited just to have his leadership and his maturity. He's been through the program, going on 5 years now. And quite honestly, I don't know what we would do. He was a freshman our first year here, so it's going to be actually kind of weird when, number 5's not walking through the locker room and through that tunnel to come out to the field. But a true professional, an unbelievable kid. And I know you, Crawford, got a chance to really know him. A great family, and he's definitely going to be missed. From not only me, but his teammates and the rest of our coaching staff once he's gone.
Yeah, Trey's an incredible kid. Had the opportunity to interview him and also got close with him this past summer, but he will surely be missed by Tom Sox fans. But when you were looking for a place for him to go for summer ball, why did you choose Charlottesville, and what were you kind of looking for in general for a player like him?
Yeah, well, he's an interesting, going into his senior year, knowing how well he was in the classroom. He was really looking for some type of internship that he could do, not only while he was playing, but also kind of maybe open some doors and maybe get some experience off the field and kind of prepare himself for life after baseball. And when I reached out to Jeff, actually, he reaches out to us all the time, and I love that guy. He's unbelievable. He's already trying to get some of our players that aren't even here yet as freshmen. It was really talking with Jeff. That was really the best case scenario for him. I know Jeff needed another infielder. And the good thing about Trey is the guy can play everywhere. I mean, he can play the infield, he can play the outfield. He wanted an internship, and Jeff really kind of hooked him up with all that stuff. And it's an unbelievable place to spend your summer. Obviously I'm biased a little bit towards Charlottesville, but it really is. It's an unbelievable place. Plus he wasn't that far from his family. So they got a chance to come down and see him play. So that's really kind of what we were looking for in the fall for him, leading up to, the following summer when he was coming to you guys.
Now, just from your personal experience as a player and what you've seen for the players that you've coached, why is summer ball so important in general?
Well, I think it's an important piece to their development, Crawford. It really is. And, I'll give you an example. We had a kid that was a freshman that we knew was going to be an extremely talented player for us, but he was stuck behind some older veteran players that were really good players. And there just wasn't really anywhere for him to play as a freshman. And really his season was during the summer. And, because you and I both know if you don't, especially as a position player, if you don't get at bats and you don't play, it's going to be hard to get any better. It's going to be hard to develop. And we were fortunate enough to place him somewhere where he was able to get a ton of at bats. And he came back the following fall, and he really just took off. And really his first full season, he was an all-conference player. Will Wagner, you may know the name. He's from the Charlottesville area. He's that guy that I'm talking about. But, everybody has a unique situation. The pitching side is obviously a little bit tricky. But from a position player standpoint, we really want to find somewhere that's really going to be it's going to be a good fit, for him as a player. And obviously the place we send him to, they're going to take care of him. And you guys do an unbelievable job at that. And, hopefully we can get some more guys. Maybe next summer we can have some more Liberty Flames heading that way.
For sure. That's definitely a relationship that we're excited about, especially with what Trey did for the organization in just his one season here. Well, Coach, that's all I have in terms of questions. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I just appreciate what you guys do. This is a testament to you guys and just how great, the Tom Sox organization is. And I just appreciate you having me on, man.
Thank you so much for being here. Well, that was Tom Sox Conversations. That was Liberty Flames assistant coach Tyler Cannon. I'm Crawford Humphreys. Be sure to follow the Tom Sox on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and the Tom Sox TV YouTube channel, and also subscribe to the Valley League on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for tuning in.